And we are once again underway. The third round of the RSS GT Championship. As usual, it is Sabo first car on track. Interesting to be able to directly compare people's lines in the solo qualifying format. First couple of laps in is Rosa currently with the fastest lap, 31.8. As usual, qualifying is a consecutive 3-lap average, so no idea on the qualifying positions final 2 laps. Stars once again gracing us with the presence of the Viper and its V10 after missing last week. Second lap set, it is now Sabo with the fastest time by 16 thousandths. Although Duffy, meanwhile, has managed to set a 31.4. 4 tenths up. Wait and see what the 3-lap average works out as. As Rosa and Sabo now approach the line to finish their runs, still neck and neck. Very easy comparison of who's had the faster average when they started their laps at a similar time. Sabo crosses the line. That's a 32.061, followed by Sabo with a 32.086. Very close. Gonzalez, meanwhile, takes pole with a 31.9 average, though. Then followed a tenth and a bit behind by Marcus Niemi. There's now a rush of back to pits so they can start another 3-lap stint. Attack joining us for this race onwards, I think. They had some quite promising pace in practice. See what they can do here. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Duffy has gone fastest with a 31.7 average time, 2/10 clear of Gonzalez. Despite the fact Duffy and Gonzalez are in the same car, there is a 5 km/h top speed difference between the two. Gonzalez and Sabo both with very similar top speeds, presumably running the same setup. They have trimmed that car for absolute straight line speed. Back up on Duffy spinning off. They have improved their qualifying time though. Now down to a 31.655. Gonzalez yet to improve, not sure where they are in this stint. Sabo still just behind, 43 thousandths off his teammate. Carrying about an extra 60 kilos of ballast though, I think. Fastest overall lap times, still Duffy with a 31.4. start running wide. That'll be that stint. Nick Wu also here in the V10. Up the line to, I think, complete a stint. And does complete a stint, putting him in 8th, 32.5. Very close in the midfield. There are 3 cars within 13 thousandths. Is Shard, Iment, and Nick Wu. The Viper drivers are indeed based. They don't seem to have the straight line speed advantage here. But then I think they can run a lot more downforce and still have a competitive top speed. So. As Gonzalez flies so hard into the wall that he leaves this dimension. Gonzalez has now taken pole with a 31.584. Niemi also having jumped past Duffy, a 31.651. Just 4 thousandths ahead of Duffy's time. A couple of incredibly close groups. Rossa, meanwhile, as Duffy practices a pit entrance. Rossa, meanwhile, is just another 100th of a second behind Duffy. Saraka hitting the curb pretty hard on the inside and catapulting himself off the track. Everybody seeming to have given up on doing stints now. With 2 cars out on track, Sodas and Kostiska. And those guys now having given up 2, it is just Sumoy still out on the track on an outlap. This is not going to count towards anything. Well, it's okay, Blank. Oni sent some messages in chat, and he's just in front of you, so, well, we all know the rules. Message in chat, 5 kilos extra on the car. I will be kind and only put 5 on, not 10. I am going to ignore the Emmys as there is literally nobody on track now. Right. For that, I need to restart my game, although I am going to do that. Just needed to restart because I had it loaded on the wrong settings and the stream seemed to be stuttering a bit. I don't know if it was, but better be safe, I guess. So, after an incredibly close qualifying, it is Gonzalez on pole, followed by Niemi, Duffy, Rosa, and Sabo. Batak joining us just for this round. This is their first round here. Doing an incredible job putting it in P6. Had a Potato-Hedron, Shard, Iman, and Wu. And towards the back of the grid, there is Sumoi, K. Jensen, Juska, Sodas, Broughton, and Zeu, who did not qualify as usual. This race will be a longer single race with a rolling start compared to the previous sprint races. Means I have to have fun trying to do 4 different things at once. It is 60 minutes. Plus 2 for the rolling start, so... I should probably make this setup slightly less lethal. Going to make sure I have the rolling start up on myself so I can check everything's working. Back to this. as Gonzalez decides to try and race the safety car off the line. I have somehow managed to get myself a drive-through, which actually probably makes sense. I was not paying much attention to that. We do already have somebody disconnecting before we even go green. As I now tail off, back into the pits, and line myself up with a good view of everything. Car's coming through the final couple of corners now. We come up to the line. Go. And away they go. Is Gonzalez somehow with front damage already? Is Niemi taking the inside into T1, but Gonzalez is going to have the inside in T2. Seems like there was a really clean first section there. Is Niemi, who's managed to get out into the lead. Gonzalez now having to defend from Vatak, who's had a great start. Now up the inside of Duffy to take P3. He can hold it. Now even going to be looking at P2 as Gonzalez continues to drop backwards. Chard, meanwhile, having a pretty good launch 2 up to P5. Going to dive up the inside of Duffy at the last second. And a bit of contact on the exit. Seems like Duffy's going to manage to hold it around the inside of the next corner. Niemi, meanwhile, is taking advantage of all of this and just storming away at the front. Duffy and Shard still side by side, but Shard does eventually concede that position. Further down the field, everyone having pretty much sorted themselves out into single file now. Vatak through the final corner. Vatak's gonna lose that position, possibly lose another one to Shard as well. Just don't seem to have the straight line speed here. They go 3 wide into turn 1 now. Bit of a lock up from Vatak, but he does manage to get it stopped. Gonna lose the place to Sabo as well though. A standing start that is slowly slipping away from them. They all duck and weave now, trying to get the slipstream from each other down this straight. Into the corner, Wu goes to the inside, breaks late, forces Sabo a little bit wide, but they're both still on the track, but it's going to allow Vatak to get through. on Sabo once again. Just having to run a little bit wide to dodge Wu though. Through the kink. Not going to allow Sabo through though. Duffy right on the back of Shard, who has also had an excellent start up to P3 already. Either Duffy's got the straight line speed to run it up the outside here. But back into the slipstream, see what he can do. Goes to the outside, Shard gonna try and hold the inside, breaks earlier, and Duffy sweeps around the outside, which is gonna give him the inside for T2. Shard does hold on to it through T3, almost gonna make contact with the apex. Vatek, Sabo, and Wu still fighting. K. Jensen now joining as well. Sabo goes to the inside of Vatek, has to back out and actually loses the place to Jensen because of it as well. Jensen does run wide though, that's going to cost him time, it's quite bumpy out there. Ooh, big lock up from Paisuta there. That is going to hand the place to Sodas. It's a really nice sequence of corners. It's just often causes crashes because of its, you know, kind of off-camber downhill nature. That and the sausage curb on the apex of T2 is not exactly that nice. Vatek and Sabo still fighting. Sabo's going to run it round the outside at T1. Bit of contact just at the entry of T2. He's going to force Vatek to slot him behind. Jensen not having had a great exit either. Is that going to give the Potato Heater a run? I don't think so. Got K. Jensen also doing his best Verstappen impression running wide there. Thankfully not forcing anybody off wide with him. Back up front, the ME continuing to hold a pretty comfortable 1.5 second lead. Back though, it is the fight for 10th place as Paisuta goes the inside of Sodas. Given the shorter run round. See whether there's much in the top speeds though. They're still side by side into the braking zone for T1. Once again, Sodas is not actually going to hold it around the outside at T1, he's going to back out for T2. The start was incredibly, I think, entirely clean, Dragod. I don't think anybody died. Yep, Tomsy going round the outside of Pachuska now, but does get out on the bumps and loses that advantage again. Murder that curb at the hairpin. That's not going to help. That's going to allow Iment to sweep round the outside and have the inside for the next corner. See whether Zeu's got any defense here. Iment taking a very wide entry. That's not really going to help him. Simoy now coming up on the back of Zeu with a massive straight line speed advantage. Just in front of them though, it's going to be side by side as well from Iment and Pastuska. They are still side by side until Pastuska backs out around the outside of T2. Oh, and there is a spin from Iment as he gets collected by Simoy, who seems to have taken suspension damage or something that's caused him to hit the wall. Theo, I think, was also tangled up in that, but didn't get hit quite as badly. Bob with Simoy seems to be fine. Some interesting interpretation of the track limits from Pastuska there. Gonzalez still holding about 1.5–2 seconds back from Niemi. Yeah, the lack of ballast is definitely helping Gonzalez, but it is otherwise pretty good pace anyway. The ballast is doing its job on Sabo, currently set down in P6. Sabo's consistency has been pretty much unmatched so far this season, so we'll see how that works out over the next 50 minutes. Time for a pit stop here is about 20 seconds lost, I think, including taking tyres. Is a mandated pit stop. Bit of lock up from Vatek on the end for the T1. Yeah, it's definitely one of those tracks where you're sort of a couple seconds off pace and then you suddenly work out the line and you're like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. And that time just disappears. There are 3 tyres available, soft, medium and hard. I don't think we'll see the softs used. They are a bit too soft. The expected strategy is going to be medium-medium. Hard to soft might work, but nobody's started on it. I don't think anybody will manage to pull off medium to soft. The far too much of a risk is Broughton on the outside there. A lap down already, unfortunately. Has been out of sim racing for a while, so... Gonzalez definitely starting to lose time to Niemi. Niemi's last lap was his best so far, so definitely still got some good pace. Fastest lap so far is a 32.728 from Gonzalez, set a couple of laps ago. Still just losing a lot of time to Niemi now, though. If he falls back towards Duffy. Wu chasing down the Viper in front of him. Jensen on the back of Potatohedron now. The only lister on the track, I think. Potatohedron. He does concede that position in T1. Adrian gonna sit right on the back of Jensen though. Lister being the only correct hand drive car on the grid. As there are some internet issues from Potatohedron, as he flies off into the barrier and then corrects itself. Down the battle for 12th place is Zayu and Sumoy. Having managed to reel that time back in after the incident earlier. Looks to the inside, probably not going to be close enough, but does outbrake Zayu. Gets the race cleanly into P1. Looks like Sumoy is just going to pull away there. Seems like Sabo's found some pace back up in 6th place. Batak having dropped off behind. Sabo having closed in the gap to Wu and Shard. Wu and Shard battling now as they both dive to the inside. Wu goes back out to the outside, holds Shard very tight on the apex of T1. Inside for T2, but it's Shard who's going to have the tighter line through T3 then. Wu once again tucks into the slipstream on the inside. They continually smash into each other. Is Wu who's going to have to slot in behind though. All this will definitely be helping Sabo. Wu goes up the inside and gets the place. Sabo possibly just sitting back a bit of a lock-up from one of the lifers there. As these two battle it out still. See whether Sabo or Shard can do anything with the slipstream here. Seems not. Definitely seems like Sabo is approaching the top of the gearing there as well as he locks the rears a little bit on the corner entry, I think. Almost loses it. Wu meanwhile is pulling ahead in P4. See whether he can close the gap to Gonzalez, who has been overtaken by Duffy at some point in the meantime there. Seems like it was probably a mistake from Gonzalez that's caused that. Considering Duffy is 7.5 seconds behind Miami still. Hedron right on the back of K. Jensen as he holds a massive slide through turn 6, I think. Back down with Sumoy having got his way past Sodas now as well. They also closing in on Sodas. Lambo definitely quite a strong car in a straight line, but Zeu seemingly just not having the confidence on the brakes to attack much into T1. So once again going to be firmly in the 16 of Sodas down the main straight. See how close he can get this time. Does seem to be reeling him in, but it's not going to be enough. As you can get a lot closer through the middle sector. Everything's still pretty much as it was back up the front. Gonzalez, though... Oh, as there has been a mistake from Sodas as soon as I cut away, of course. Let's go through. Back up front, Gonzalez does seem to be closing in on Duffy again. The Emmys lead, meanwhile, for a pretty healthy 8 seconds. And I think it is about 20-25 seconds total lost for a pit stop, so that would bring him out in P10 currently. Everybody will be starting to think about pit stops now, with 35 minutes to go. Adrian once again having closed that gap to Jensen. He can Formula drift his way past this time. Adrian and Adamike were definitely running a very setup on corner entry at Homestead. Seems to be the same here. As Potato Adrian is the first car to come into the pits. Nails that entry between the lines. As we see Samoy and Pastuska zoom past, as Samoy does take the place into T1. Really good recovery drive so far from Samoy. Soda's also having come into the pits. Slightly on the early side, I would have thought, but... yeah, we'll at least put them out in clean air behind everyone. Because they should be able to get some pretty good laps in. Samoy not managing to pull away from Pastuska much though. Sabo sent it round the outside of T1 on Shard. As often happens though, Shard having the inside for T3 is going to hold it, but Sabo seems to have a pretty good run down this straight. They now go side by side through turn 4. There's going to be a bit of contact in the middle of the double apex corner. And that's going to help Shard stay ahead. Sabo very late on the brakes, possibly made contact with Shard there, who seemed to be having issues of his own. He's going to give Sabo the place. Nope, still only Fade and Sodas who are pitted. Vatek has also pitted the last couple of laps. These guys will have a pretty good run on fresh tyres and about half the fuel they started on now. In clean air, which will definitely help. That's the halfway point now, so everybody should be thinking about it. As Shard does come into the pits, but cuts the pit entrance massively there, very late on the entrance. Wu also into the pits, as is Gonzalez, so there's a couple of cars from off the front. We're now going to make their pit stop pretty much bang on the halfway point. Yemi are pretty comfortable, near 10 seconds ahead, is staying out for now, as is Duffy, so is Sabo. Yep, a lot of cars in the pits on this lap. It is Pastuska, Sumoy, and Wu. Wu seeming to be having a very slow pit stop though. Not sure if he'd only taken fuel for the halfway point and had to put a lot in this stop, but that is going to cost him massively. He'll end up in an effective... well, effective around P10 or worse. Undercut definitely having worked for Vatek here. They are now right on the back of Gonzalez. Gonzalez, who was up in P3, Vatek was quite a bit further down. Yemi now comes into the pits. Duffy still staying out though. Sabo is going to follow Niemi in. Bit of lock-up from both cars in P1. Definitely not how you want to treat brand new tyres. Sabo having come out the pits behind Vatek even. So yep, definitely a good strategy from Vetek there. Hey, even though not far off Sabo, so again the undercut seems to have worked. See how that pays off at the end once their tyres are a couple laps older. Three cars left to pit still is Iman down at the back here, battling with a couple of cars who have pitted, as Duffy now comes into the pits. That is just going to leave Jensen and Iman. As Niemi once again takes the lead. Right, see you. Gonzalez sitting fastest lap on those fresh tyres. Still some way off the qualifying pace, I don't think they're going to get near that. Duffy having extended the lead to their lead over Gonzalez. Meanwhile, Gonzalez is on another pretty quick lap, purple first sector. See what we can do in sector 2. The pole position average lap time was a 31.584, the average of 3 laps, so still a good second and a bit to go. I don't think they're going to get anywhere near that. Be around a 32.5, I'll be surprised. And surprised I am as Gonzalez just about manages it with a 32.594. Definitely making the most of the new medium tyres. Everyone has indeed gone on to the mediums again. Okay, Jensen's still yet to pit. Guess they're just gonna drive until the fuel runs out. As Iman has pitted now, which means, yep, Jensen is the final car. He pits now, that will put him out back around P6, P7 maybe. So still around Sabo. But he's not, and he is going to dive in very late again, cutting across the entrance just like his teammate did. Which will be reviewed after the race. Gonzalez once again sets another fastest lap, 32.487. Absolutely flying as the fuel burns off on these drifter tyres. Coming up on lapped cars now. Broughton probably giving him a bit of slipstream there. Don't think it's going to help too much with lap time though. Further back, Rossa actually managing to set a purple sector 2, down in 14th there. As he comes across the line, sets a 32.566. Be very impressive were it not for Gonzalez's last lap. There's been a bit of contact through turn 3 between Zeu and Sodas and Samoy, I think. Oh, as there's a big slide from Sodas, whose internet is going places, sideways. He no-clips his way through Rosa there, continues to teleport around. It'll be quite distracting for Zeu and Rosa. As Rosa has now retired, moving Clumsy up to P12. He also gets past Sodas, who is spun round at the inside of turn 4 there. Not sure if those two had come together. Battle for 4th place, Sabo slowly closing in on Vatak now as they both come up on the lapped traffic that is Iman. Absolutely incredible drive from Batak in P4 here. Impressive qualifying for the first race in 6th already, having managed to pull 2 places with the pit strategy as well. Hope Iman does not get in the way too much here. And the Emmy, meanwhile, has managed to take the fastest lap. Just pipping Gonzalez by 200ths. The cars are all pretty different. Mid-engine, front-engine stuff, different top speeds. The balance of performance we have on is pretty good. So they are all pretty much bang on the same pace. There's definitely a lot of difference between all the cars. Things like the Viper is an absolute boat, but a missile on the straights. Lambo is quite understeery on corner entry, but also pretty good on the straights. Iman still sat in front of these guys, does move out of the way of Vatak, but is possibly gonna hold Sabo up there. That's not going to help Sabo's charge on Vatak there. Now, even though Sabo's tyres are a little bit fresher than Vatak's, the extra ballast Sabo is carrying probably isn't going to help him conserve those tyres. Back down in 9th and 10th, Wu and Samoi, as Samoi closes in on Wu but runs wide into the final sector there. Lost him a lot of time on Wu, and crucially that slipstream as well. Vatak seems to have lost a lot of time now. 6, 7, 10th, Sabo is going to be right on him as they come up to the hairpin. Bit of a moment on the exit from Vatak there. As Niemi goes faster once again, this time another 0.3 off. 32.196. Sabo with the slipstream now. Probably going to get alongside by the entry for T1. Just about ahead as they get on the brakes. Attack again with a lockup on the inside. Bit of contact in between T1 and 2. Sabo's going to force him very tight through T3, but he is going to manage to hold the place. Attack diving to the inside, covering off Sabo's approach. We're taking some interesting lines through here, try and throw Vatak off a bit. A bit wide the Vatak. They once again come onto the main straight, and Sabo's straight line speed should allow him to breeze past. See what Vatak can do on the brakes this time around. Gonna sit right in the middle of the track, force Sabo to pick a side. Does pick the outside. Doesn't manage to hold it on the brakes to get up the inside for T2 this time. Perhaps just going to sit behind and use this to get a run into turn 4. I don't think he's going to be close enough. Oh, as Vatak spins off to the inside of the hairpin. That is a shame. Plenty of gap back to 6th place though, so we should hold on to that 5th. Actually quite impressive that Pachuska is up in 6th place now. He did qualify down in 13th. Is not far off the back. Yeah, it would seem like that. Sumoy on the back of Wu now, just a couple tenths behind, going to be right on his diffuser as they come onto the start-finish straight now. The Viper's straight line speed is possibly just going to help Wu stay ahead though. Still goes defensive. As Sumoy just about gets a wheel alongside on the outside. Going to try and get a cutback to go around the outside at T2. Just about holds it there at T3, but has to back out before the exit as Wu squeezes him tight. Up at the front, Yami's lead still slowly increasing, up to nearly 17 seconds now. Yami having taken the lead in turn 1, having just made no mistakes since. Absolutely breezed away. Meanwhile, Gonzalez seems to be catching up with Duffy though, possibly lost a chunk of time himself as his teammate is lapped once again up on the outside there. Sumoy still behind Wu in this battle for 8th though. Just about 10 minutes remaining. See whether Sumoy can do anything in these last couple of laps. Definitely be a bit of a test of who's treated the tyres better. Duffy definitely seems to be struggling with the tyre wear, has dropped back even further from Niemi. Carlos still seems to be reeling him in. Not sure if it's going to be enough for him to catch up by the end though. Duffy's last lap was just over a second, 1.2 seconds slower than both Niemi and Gonzalez's, those two having very similar lap times. A 32.6 versus a 33.8. Duffy pulled back a bit of pace on this lap though, down to a 32.8. Gonzalez meanwhile on a 33 flat. Does still seem to be reeling him in though. Duffy half a second slower in Sector 1. At that pace, Gonzalez will definitely catch him by the end. Pretty similar times through Sector 2, just hundreds in it. And yep, that is identical lap times from Wu and Sumoy there. These two still just sat a pretty steady gap apart. But Gonzalez ended up being 8/10 faster on that lap than Duffy. Could catch him in the next 1 or 2 laps, depending on what Duffy can do on the presumably dying tyres. Both in the same car, so you would expect the tyre wear to be pretty similar, but setup and driving distance is presumably doing a lot. Both Wu and Sumoy now closing in on Shard. Quite slow into the final sector as he comes across the nose of Wu and ends up in the barrier. Wu just about staying in the right direction. Sumoy, meanwhile, has benefited from that massively, getting past both of them up to 7th place now. Guard also going to drop back behind his teammate Jensen, and therefore Potato Adrian as well. Now with just about 3 laps to go, whether Wu can do anything against Sumoy. Back up in the battle for P2, Gonzalez now only about 6/10 off Duffy. Duffy possibly having realised the situation here and picked up the pace a bit. Is hoping that everyone had enough fuel to get to the end. They come up on the final 2 or so laps now. Gonzalez much better run out of the E45 that isn't going to manage to get alongside Duffy. Gonzalez is well, in qualifying was about 5 kilometers an hour up on Duffy, so we'll see what he can do. I don't think he's going to be close enough to do it now. This should be the final lap. Don't think Niami's going to get round. Start another one. I don't think Gonzalez is going to manage to reel in that half a second and get past unless there's a mistake from Duffy here. North Stars Vipers blasting down the start-finish straight. Jensen is going to go around the outside of his teammate into T1 and is pretty clearly ahead by T2. Back up the front though, Niami crosses the line, takes the win. Nearly 22 seconds clear of Duffy. Kuska is right on the back of Vatek in the battle for 5th place. Don't know if he's going to manage to get anywhere though. Guard right on the back of his teammate still, down in 10th and 11th. Not sure how aggressively these two are going to fight each other, being teammates, and there being just one lap left. Kuska is going to cross the line behind Vatek, so impressive first race from Vatek there. Bring it home in 5th place. As Jensen and Shard are going to try and decide who should take the position. Slow each other down. If they do it too much though, Zayo is going to breeze past, and I think he is. They've held each other up that much. They now cross the line side by side in 11th and 12th as a car goes cartwheeling through the pit lane. So that is everyone across the line. Is Niemi bringing it home with a very comfortable 20-second lead, followed by Duffy, Gonzalez, Sabo in 4th place. A reasonable improvement on the 5th in qualifying. Vatek, Pashtuska, Samoy having qualified in 11th, so a pretty good race for him. We were in 8th, Potato Heater in 9th, Tomsy rounding out the top 10. They also having not qualified, starting down in 16th, so another impressive race from him. That is pretty much that until next week, where we will be racing at Spa. Another hour-long race with a rolling start. Hopefully it will be clean on the run into whatever T1 ends up being for that rolling start. So yep, until next week.